Hey everyone, welcome to Ellis Mowers. Before I get in front of the camera and show you what we're going to be working on today, hint hint, you know it's a busy day in the driveway whenever I've got all this stuff out. I'm doing a lot of cheap push mowers lately. This is not going to be anything different. So, what we have here today is probably one of the worst looking ones I have in the driveway. However, it has a good hope of starting, at least on initial diagnosis. So we'll see. But it is a Rusty Murray with a 5 horsepower Quantum. It's got the old style choke mechanism on it. It's got a couple of interesting features that have been added as well that I'll show it to you. We're just going to see if we can get this thing running and get a couple of dollars in the pocket. So let's go ahead and get started. So you may be wondering why in the world I got all these other push mowers out here. Obviously these are the ones that y'all have seen on the channel already and are already completed. But it's like, why in the world did I choose this one over the others that seemingly look a little bit better? Well, the reason is there's a lot of signs pointing to this thing potentially running with little work. I hope I don't eat my words. But let me show you around it real quick. Like I said, this is a 5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton Quantum engine. It had a whole bunch of features that they wrote in cursive on it. It has what looks to be a decent plug in it. This was made in, let's see, let's see if we can find the model or the... So it's a 124802. I don't know if I can get the camera down enough to see that. 930123 is the number here. This means it was made January 23rd of 1993. That means that I am 23 days older than this push mower. How about that? Talking about 28 years old. Really has stood the test of time decently well. I know it's, you know, a rust bucket. It looks like it's been through New England salt or something like that. And it's got the habitual rust on the rear left here. So somebody's going to buy this mower for like 40 bucks, use it a year, maybe 2, and then just throw it out. That's the gist of this one. The couple of interesting features that I mentioned, this one has a, it took me a while to figure out what it was, but it has a throttle cable, and they imprinted the words fast, and then it says it either says COX or COK. And I was trying to figure out, what does that mean? Remember, I live in North Carolina. Our language and literacy rate for reading and writing may not be as good as those who live in other states. COX, it took me a few days to figure out, but when I push this up, I can feel the choke come on. So that means choke. I don't know what they decided to do there, but at least I figured it out. Another interesting add is that because they were cutting grass so thick that they couldn't mulch with it, they added a stick and zip tied it to the back of the mower to keep this open so that it wouldn't clog up. So that tells you that this thing was probably doing some hard labor because it's a mulching setup, mulching mower. We'll go ahead and do some weight reduction on it, right? I'll blow it off the driveway. Weight reduction. Let's look under it. I get more of a kick out of getting these running than like a $250 mower sometimes. If we want to add to the misery, the blade is on upside down, so you see the lift points are facing down. So instead of them cutting the grass, they were just beating the grass down. So, oil check. Oil's a little overfilled, but looks good. See, the one thing that got me was when I check the gas and do a smell test, it's got gas in it, and it smells relatively fresh. And when I pull the rope, which it'll need a rope, it's really doesn't sound too bad. Sounds like it's got good compression. I don't know if I've tried to take the air filter off. We're about to try to take the air filter off and get this thing kicked over. I can't get it to fire on its own. That probably is the reason why. Because the air filter is just caked solid. Hard labor. I think this one's had some. So let's look. The choke pulled out, right? The choke will pull back, so that the choke will pull back and it'll run. And I'm sure if I pull it all the way back, it'll cut off. I hope it does. That way I don't have to install sort of a toggle switch, but that would definitely be why it was not running. I am curious if I can get it to start on its own now that I have taken out the air filter. I hope y'all are enjoying this. This is some of the stuff whenever I pick up lots of lawnmowers that I come across. You get like I think I got 6 mowers for $50 or something like that. I've already fixed a couple of them that I got. I fixed one of them. I'm going to make my money back plus like $30-$40. And then you just try and get the others running, you know? I mean, it's not crazy. I'll stop talking and let me see if I can get this thing running. I'll encourage it. I think we'll have to go into at least the jet. These carbs are pretty resilient, though. Alright, next up, let me grab a plug wrench real quick. We'll check the plug while y'all are still at it here. A little bit of gunk in the plug. Just gonna clean it out with some carb spray real quick. Wipe it off too. Okay, so we wiped it off. That should give us enough to spark, hopefully. If not, I'll take a wire brush to it. Pop a little encouragement in there. There we go. That spark plug didn't want to latch. Let's see if it'll at least kick over. time. Almost acted like I wanted to go. I'll give it one more shot. It's acting like it's got a little bit of water in it. I'm going to cut the camera off. I'm just going to do that a couple more times. If for some reason it picks up, I'll turn the camera back on and show y'all. I should have left y'all on for one more try. No joke, it worked. I told you these old Briggs are pretty resilient. It's just a little bit of water. That you don't think will run are the ones that run. I've been in this business, quote unquote, long enough, and I had a suspicion, and my suspicion was right, which is kind of cool. What I'm going to go ahead and do next, I do need to put a pull rope in it and a new air filter on it, probably sharpen the blade. I'm going to go ahead and do the oil and the air filter and the blade sharpening, and I will let y'all rejoin me as I put the pull rope on. It shouldn't take too long. Alright guys, when you break things open, you learn things as well. So I've got the oil changing. And of course, because somebody put the blade on backwards, the other side's already sharp. So all I gotta do is turn it around. Woohoo! But this mower, or this engine, looks like it came off of a different lawnmower because it's got the self-propel pulley there on it. So, and it comes with these bolts that bolt in as opposed to the ones that bolt in the middle, which actually I think is a better solution you find on the older mowers. So part of me thinks that this is not the original deck or the original engine on this deck, although the rust holes kind of signify it. However, this self-propel pulley does not. Let me know what y'all think. I'm not a Murray aficionado, but that to me looks like a self-propel pulley, and this is not a self-propel mower. Either way, should be a quick flip for us, and we should be done with it pretty shortly. Alright guys, so nothing's leaking on this thing. Should I replace the fuel line while I'm at it? I don't even know. Taking the 2 screws off for this. Comes right on off. At least it should. Yeah, there we go. And 5/16, 5/16, and 5/16. Here's the thing, guys. If you have these $40 push mowers, the key is to not waste a lot of time on them. Get them in, get them done, get them out. Call it a day. 3/8. 1, 2. Gonna have to work around the gas tank here. Three, 4, pull it out. Okay. I usually take it out with the oil dipstick because it seems to be easier. Let's go to the bench. Got to do a little bit of cleanup. I've been pretty busy the past couple days. Screwdriver. We're just going to pull this bad boy out. Hope y'all can see most of this. I'm going to pull it out. We will save the handle. See, this thing was literally on its last legs. I'm glad I was able to get it started before the pull rope broke. The good news is we've saved this pull rope, so we can just cut it to length. You just pull it all the way out, put a screwdriver in. That typically, let's see, I need to go a little bit further on this one. This one's going to be a little bit of a bear, but I think we'll be able to get it pretty easily. I'm just going to pull this knot out. Cut it off. Pull it out. Take this side. This one has a little cap at the top that we'll need to pull off with another flathead screwdriver. Thankfully, screwdrivers aren't like 10mm wrenches. Pretty readily available. Alright, so that's that. You can see just how dried up this is. Cut it as close to the knot as possible because we're going to use this as a reference point for our new pull rope. And that mower's actually got a little eyelet, so that's even better. Don't have to reach all the way down to the machine to turn it on. Let's see. Pull that knot out. Hopefully we can. That thing is stiff. Oh my goodness. There we go. New pull rope. Let me go get it. Alright, let me sit y'all over here. So what I do, hopefully I can show it pretty well. I cut it to length. Start at the top. Just let this run down. Just start at the top and just kind of run it along here. Run it along. Okay, so I get to the end, pull a little bit more to accommodate for the knots I'm going to cut it off. That was not a clean cut, but that's okay. Usually I do a lot better than that when I cut it. We'll take this other end here. So that old rope is done. We don't need it anymore. I'll go ahead and wrap my rope back up. Best way to buy a rope is not in them $9 kits from Lowe's. The best way to buy a rope is in these 100-foot spools from Stens. You can get from eBay for I think like $18. Makes your money go a lot further. Let's go back here. And basically I'm just going to feed the rope through the hole right there into the other hole, which is easier said than done, and I think this older Briggs is going to be a lot more difficult to do than the new Briggs, than the newer ones. What I also can do is try and feed it from this way. I don't think that's going to work either. I do need to burn the ends though. With the cigarette lighter here. There we go. Okay, I'm going to do that. That'll get us in a lot easier. Now it's just a matter of feeding it in. There it is. That was a lot easier after I burned the end on it. A lot of times I can get by with not having to do that. I like to double knot everything. Extra insurance, you know. Knot number 1. Knot number 2. That way if one fails, the other one's still there. Y'all know my channel's not going by the book. It's about improvising and making things work. Making things that aren't supposed to work sometimes. Kind of case in point with this Murray, right? So, same thing on the other side. Yeah, that was a little hot. You can get some gloves or something on if you don't want to burn your hand. I didn't burn my hand, I just kind of did that to it. This particular one I got to throw through the T first. Then I got to throw through this deal here, and hopefully it'll push around. This one's going to be a little bit tighter of a knot, but I'm going to still try and double knot it. It's not going to look very pretty, but we're still going to do it. I go over extra insurance over looks here, so It'll take a little bit of shoving to get this into the T handle, because this handle's really small, but we'll get it in there. Don't worry. It will bulge a little bit, but you know what? That's okay. It's not going to come out, and that is the most important thing in this whole ordeal here. Let's see, do I do that and leave it exposed, or do I just try and cram it in there? I don't know. Either way, it's about to be done, which is good. Yeah, that'll work. Not going to come out. That's a good thing. Take our spring, or take our screwdriver and uncoil the spring. I will put a little bit of WD-40 on that while we are sitting here. Put a lube on everything, because everything always needs a little love, right? And I'll go ahead and put it back on the mower. Y'all saw how I took it off and do the exact same thing, putting it back on. I will go ahead and replace that fuel line while I've got the tank in an upright position. Don't want to have a $40 mower coming back to me over a 10-cent fuel line, you know. So I'll go ahead and do all the other maintenance items to it really quickly, and we will give it a final look before we call it done on this little $40 mower. Alright guys, I'm going to do a quick aside before we finish up this $40 push mower. You see all these 6 mowers right here? You'll see them over the span of a couple of weeks on the channel, but honestly the reason why I don't do daily vlogs like Henry with mowers and blowers and a couple of other people on YouTube is because I'll do stuff in spurts, and then I won't do things for a few days, or I won't do things for a few months. So a lot of the stuff y'all saw over the winter was stuff that I fixed mid to late summer, just because I fixed so many things over the course of the year. I didn't want to inundate you and then leave y'all dry for like 4 or 5 months. So that's kind of an aside for that. But yeah, so the reason why I have been at home, this is near the end of February where I'm filming this video, is just because I've had to do a 14-day quarantine period because my dad had coronavirus and we were around him at the time he was symptomatic, not thinking that it was just allergies from where he pulled up carpet earlier in the week. It disguised itself. Anyways, that's an aside. I just wanted to share that with y'all and kind of the reasoning why behind I do what I do on the channel. And the reason why I've been able to get so much stuff done here over the course of a couple of days. I'm usually not home until about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, which gives me about 4 hours. But I've had a couple of days to just crank stuff out. I know y'all like to kind of know updates about that. But anyways, here's the final product. Again, I'll list it for $40. It's a take it or leave it deal. I'm not taking $30. It's a running, cut and push mower that's been serviced with a new air filter, new oil, and the blade's in great shape on it. So it's going to work for somebody. It's got a new pull rope on it too, so let's crank it up. I want to add that I didn't even put gas in this thing. It's going off of the gas that was in the machine already. So I didn't even add gas to it. I just gave it some fire with some starting fluid, and whatever water was in it just purged out of the system. And it's run great ever since. So let's start it up. I'll even idle it down and stuff. I'll throw a little seafoam in it just to help clear it out. Maybe run it for about 10 minutes just to make sure that the coil is good. But I mean, we're good. We're good on this. I'm done. Been about an hour's worth of work. Clean up the garage while I'm at it. Good enough for me. It's like, you know, turning nothing into something, you know. not even smoking. Hasn't even smoked hardly since I cranked it up when I revived it. I'll give y'all a walk around and we'll throttle it down and wrap this thing up. So it did have a bail cable on it at one point, but the throttle shuts it off just fine. And they wired that bail cable. I took the stick off, by the way. Pretty smooth too. Let's idle it down a little bit. Look how low the thing, that's pretty much as low as I can get, but dang. And it even comes back. Maybe you kill it off. Just kills it whenever you pull that throttle all the way down from the COX point to the fast point. I mean, why is it fast on the bottom? It's stop. Maybe fast stop, I don't know. Quirky little mower, guys, but hope y'all enjoy this video. You know, I looked at this thing and I was like, man, is it even worth trying to fix? And then I saw it had what seemed to be good gas in it. It had compression. Blade was in decent shape, and I don't know, it's one of the older style Briggs carbs, which seems to be a little bit more resilient to gunk buildup. And I was like, well, might as well give it a shot. Didn't realize, I was hoping that it was going to be this easy, but didn't realize it was going to be as easy as it was. No surprises on this one, honestly. Just kind of undoing some wrongs with that stick. And, you know, servicing it with the air filter, pull rope. Seemed to be good to go. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have something like this in your driveway, just sitting around, knowing it may or may not work. Would y'all work on it? I mean, I'll get $40 out of it, but that's about all I'm going to get. It's better than nothing. It's better than taking it to the dump, right? It's more about saving stuff than it is making money sometimes. And I could get a trade on this too, so you never know. $40 could compound into $100. You never know in the this environment. So this is, I believe, number 12 push mower for the spring. I'll lose count eventually once I start getting cranking here, but I appreciate y'all watching. I'll catch y'all in the next video.